Welcome everybody back to Friar Talk. We are here after a huge win against the Mets. You take the wild card series. I'm not at the game tonight, but I was there the last couple of days. Honestly, I feel like I should have been there tonight. Tonight would have been the craziest one to go to. But it was really something to see today. We got to see the bats come out, and early on, they didn't score till what was it, second or third inning. But they were hitting Bassett pretty good, and you could feel like, okay, there's a lot of hard contact. They're lining balls. And they absolutely decimated the Mets today. So this was a huge win. I am super pumped. We're going to talk a little bit about the whole Musgrove thing, but right now we'll focus more on this win, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about the Dodgers as well. But Isaac, how you feeling about this dub?
I mean, I feel fantastic. There's no other way to put it. This is the most amazing. I mean, you go into New York against a 100+ win team who already is overlooking you. Already had LA on their calendar, not even kind of thinking, oh, we might actually lose to the Padres. The Padres actually have a good team. Every single analyst in ESPN, whatever it is, wherever all these analysts were, John Heyman, A-Rod, all of them, all the New York sports media shows, all of them said that this team, which honestly sucks, was going to kick the Padres' ass. They come into game 3 at home in an elimination game and put up one hit. This offense that we had repeatedly said the Padres match up really well against because they're basically the same offenses. They had one hit. We put up 7 runs in 2 games. We fucked them up. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys thought of this series, but it was very clear who the better team was. I mean, you went in there and you put up 7 on Max Scherzer. You almost took it just off Max Scherzer. You put up 6 or 7 just on him, and you made it look easy. You made it look like you were one of the best teams in all of baseball. You went in there and you said, "Hey, I don't care if one of the greatest pitchers of all time is pitching. That doesn't matter. We got one of the greatest pitchers too, and we're gonna go in there. We're gonna shove." Second game, yeah, you maybe come out and Blake Snell doesn't have his best outing, but you were actually able to show that you could still hang. It didn't really matter. Like, even though Blake Snell didn't have his best outing, even though the score might have indicated the Padres got their asses kicked, I had repeatedly said yesterday, the score does not indicate the actual vibe and feel of the game. The Padres were in that game the whole way. One inning blew up in their face. Today, it wasn't just one inning that blew up in the Mets' face. It wasn't just one call. It wasn't whatever you guys want, whatever the Mets fans want to say. It's the Padres went in there and they kicked their ass. They were putting up they put up runs in 3 or 4 separate innings. They hit timely. They hit with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Joe Musgrove went out on top 7 shutty. 1 hit. They had to check his ear. That shit made me so mad. But nonetheless, Joe Musgrove did his thing, went out there, and like I was saying yesterday, there's nobody I want more on the mound than Joe Musgrove in an elimination game to bring one back to Diego for a home game. Nonetheless, he goes out there and shows them why we paid him all that money.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was ridiculous tonight. Honestly, I feel like when they went and checked his ear, I feel like I got him a little hyped up, honestly. I mean, you saw – okay, I think our thumbnail is the one where he's like this, where he's like looking and kind of flicking his ear. Mm-hmm. Dude, absolutely hilarious. When we're talking about guys too, not even him. Okay, Grisham. I see people are talking about Grisham a lot. Dude, we talked about why the Padres should start Azokar over Grisham in the playoffs, because Grisham was literally had 2 hits in 30 games or something like that. And then he just, I don't know, bro, just it's time to completely turn it on because it's playoff time. Like, okay, if Grisham's gonna do that, that's cool with me. I'm fine if he just goes ridiculous in the playoffs. 2 bombs, another RBI. Like, Grisham was just absurd this series. The catch he had today, especially because you're talking about a lot of these games were not really no, they weren't close for the Padres side, but it's it was one of those things where they were hanging around, right? And it was only a couple run game when he made that insane catch. Even though you win by a lot in this one, that if you miss that ball, all of a sudden it kind of turns into something else. So I think anytime that you make a crazy play in the outfield, especially early on in the game, even if it is a blowout, the game can go way different direction. Yeah, I mean, Grish was ridiculous, dude.
I love that everyone's saying let's talk about Trent Grisham, because that is, you could honestly say Joe Musgrove, but outside of Joe Musgrove, the MVP of this wild card series was Trent Grisham. First game, hits a solo shot. Second game, hits a solo shot. This game has a few RBIs, a few knocks, and gets on all 4 times, has an incredible play out in center field. That is your MVP of this series. And since we won,
I love it. See, I would, but I'm still a little hungover from the last couple nights. All right, so I still got a
big
bad
one
headache.
too. I didn't have a shot glass anymore because they're dirty, so I gotta get a big one.
There we go, dude. What?
Let's go, baby.
Hey, are you gonna go? Are you going on Friday?
I'm gonna try and go on Friday or Saturday. I know some of my friends want to go too, but either way, I really want to watch it with my friends because I mean, we all know, like we were talking about the other day. Oh man, the Padres. We're from the Coachella Valley, where there's a lot of Dodger fans. I mean, this is our biggest series, man. We're gonna have so much fun watching this. This is huge. My parents don't have to let me drink. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I saw, going back to Trent Grisham, I see a lot of questions regarding Trent Grisham. Does Trent Grisham lead off? Stuff like that. With the way Trent Grisham is performing right now, I feel like you kind of got to just leave him in that same spot. I think Jurickson Profar is doing really good out in that leadoff spot also. Another thing is that, I mean, you have to put Grisham in there, but if he didn't play like this, it wasn't a for sure thing he was going to be in there because you're essentially assuming the Dodgers in their first 3 games are throwing Urias, Anderson, Kershaw. All 3 are lefties. Trent Grisham, not a very good lefty hitter. So before the series, it wasn't even a for sure thing he was going to be in there. But now that he's balling out, provides you immense value out in center field. And, one of the most absurd things I came across recently was that he was either the first or second best defensive center fielder in the National League. I mean, I expected it, but just from the eye test, it didn't really feel that way. So, I mean, nonetheless, Trent Grisham goes ahead and has himself an amazing series, and he's really showing why he deserves to be the starting center fielder the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I think if some of the matchups are bad, maybe you won't see him as much, but you also say that he doesn't hit well against one of the Dodger starters, right? He might not even start the game, but then whoever comes in the bullpen, he might come in later on. I think that we'll kind of see that because there will be a little bit of depending on the matchups. I also thought it was hilarious today on the ESPN broadcast when Grisham came up the first time. Dude, they were acting like Grisham had hit 300 with 40 bombs for the year.
Yeah.
And I get it because it was okay, he's been so great this series, but I was cracking up when I was listening to that. I was like, yo, what are you guys talking about? Let's talk about him right now, how he's been, because that's I don't know, dude. I'm not trying to knock Grisham or anything. I mean, I'm very, very ecstatic with how he's playing. Also,
hey,
yeah.
Something that needs to get talked about is Will Myers played an amazing first base today. A fantastic first base. He probably saved a good run or two out in first base by himself. That one that Lindor hit down the line that he was able to snag, fantastic. Was able to get the out. That turns from possibly a run to just the runner getting over to second and 1 out. Somebody else hit a ball really hard at him. He was able to get in front of it and get the out at first. Amazing first base by Will Myers today, and that's why it's so important to have an athlete at first base, not Eric
Don't say his name.
That's why it's very important to have an athlete there, like someone that has speed, has the stuff that Will Myers does, because he showed out today for sure.
Yeah, and also not only him, but I was gonna bring up, because he's one of them too. But the bottom of the lineup, dude,
fantastic.
Kim was clutch. The stolen base was big time too. Mm-hmm. Kim was great in this series. We already talked about Grisham. I mean, Grisham pretty obviously was amazing, but Nola had some big time knocks in this series. He was really good. And I know that they showed it at one point. The Padres, the bottom of the order was 7 for 20 in the series. I think that actually just went up as the game went on, because I believe there was another hit. There was 2 more hits from the bottom. So the bottom of the order was ridiculous. Manny Machado also. We haven't even brought up Manny Machado yet. He was super clutch today. And honestly really good in this series. And I think that's really good to see, because he's labeled as this guy that's he sucks in the playoffs. And it's yeah, he's played 20 games in the playoffs, bro. Now he's played more, but he had only played 29 games before this season. It's that's not we're not really going to look at someone's numbers and go, oh, they're below average. This guy sucks here because he has a 29 game sample size. That's one of the most ridiculous takes there is in baseball. Well, we know how this works. So you know that there's ups and downs, but this year Machado's hot, and we're going to see that. And he can carry this offense But right now, he doesn't have to be the only guy carrying this offense. And that's the part that's super exciting. Josh Bell, also great in this. Dude, okay. The only guy that wasn't really good was Crone. That was it. Like, everyone else was really good in this series. So, I mean, if you're looking, I guess Profar maybe, but I don't think Profar was necessarily bad. No, Profar hit 333. He had a home run. I think you're muted, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a home run that first day.
And I guess Myers didn't have a hit, but I feel like we just are excited. I mean, Myers
Amazing
also
first base, though. Amazing first base. That was
and
like
he was lacing him too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he did hit one to the warning track. Yeah, he hit a really solid one to the warning track. And I mean, I felt like he had some really good at bats this game. I mean, something that we were preaching all throughout the season. Am I lagging by any chance? No? Cool. Something that we were preaching all throughout the season is, damn, each time the Padres are losing, it's this pitcher has pitched 7 scoreless and is only like at 80 pitches. That was the biggest thing throughout the regular season. Is the Padres were not able to get pitchers deep into their counts. Early in the game today, you see Chris Bassett go out of the first with 7 pitches. And, maybe the sirens started ringing a little bit. It started to get a little scary. Next inning, the Padres are able to get him to throw 23-plus pitches. After that, the Padres controlled the whole game. And something that Chris Bassett was really trying to establish was that he owned the pace of the game, that the pace of the game was going to be his. And something that I heard the ESPN commentators complaining about, I heard a lot of people complaining about, was they keep stepping out of the box. That is one of the smartest things you could do when a pitcher's trying to do what Chris Bassett was doing. That's your at-bat. That is your at-bat. You control the pace of your at-bat. You control the pace of the game. That is the point of – that is how you rattle a pitcher, is you get him out of his flow. You get him out of his mojo. You don't let him control the game, because at the end of the day, that is your at-bat. You're trying to win. There's no reason. Why can't they keep calling timeout? There's nothing saying you can't. And the Padres were able to do it. They were able to control the pace effectively. They put up 3 or 4 runs. They were able to get him out of the game very early. And they rocked Chris Bassett.
Yeah, and I like that you bring up that's a good way that you can kind of change, kind of psych the pitcher out a little bit, because that is cool to do. That's fine to do. There's not really anything wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Mets tried to psych out the pitcher in a little bit of a different way, in trying to psych Joe Musgrove out by accusing him of cheating. I want to talk about that, dude, because
we have to.
Dude, it was ridiculous, man. I'm seeing all this stuff on Twitter. People are like, check his ears. It's proof he has Vaseline. Do you know how stupid of a take that is? Vaseline? If you had Vaseline and you're trying to pitch a baseball, you're gonna have it's not gonna increase your spin rate. It's actually gonna decrease it. But that would never be the substance. So you just have people kind of just basically talking out of their ass and saying all this stuff. And then Showalter actually goes and checks him for it? Dude, come on. If that's not a loser move, I don't know what is, bro. You're getting cooked in a playoff game and you can't hit him, so you check him? Come on, dude. Come on. It was so stupid.
Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, that's a low move. Very low. You're essentially saying that the pitcher – I felt like that was essentially saying the pitcher's not that good. The pitcher's not good enough to be able to have his RPMs this high, his velocity this high. Dude, he was only throwing 94, but I mean, that's higher than Joe's average. How about the fact that he was on how many days rest? A lot? 6 days rest, 7 days rest? How about finally he's not pitching with the fatigue arm, the thing that's been kind of hindering him his past few starts? Maybe that's a factor. I mean, I don't really get the point of going out there and checking Joe Musgrove. He doesn't really have a history of doing that. But I guess you do some desperate shit when you're losing by 4 runs. You have 1 hit. You're really trying to do anything you can to get the pitcher out of his mojo. You're trying to get in his head, whatever it is. No matter what, that was a low move. I think that was a very unclassy move. And maybe that's kind of going towards baseball doesn't have rules, stuff like that. It's not. That doesn't really, I mean, there's no reason to check him. He doesn't have a history of doing it. You were just getting beat. It's really that simple. You were just getting beat. So unclassy move by a trash organization.
Yeah, dude, that was a little bit of a crazy one. And Juan says over here, he says it was a dumb move by Buck. Felt that deflated the team. Dude, that's what I thought too when they did it. I was like, it kind of is like that's almost like waving the white flag in a way.
Yeah,
Like, all right, this is our last hurrah, but like it was only what was it only a 3-run? Was it only 3-0 at the time? I think it was only 3-0 when they did that. Like it wasn't. Maybe it was 4. Maybe it was 4.
I
I
think it
think
was
it was 4.
4.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And then Daniel says right here, McCutcheon guaranteed that Joe had red on his ears, and yeah. But that's like, but he's saying that basically like he's just has it on his ears to like not for substance, like just to
Yeah.
put there. And I think they showed it on ESPN broadcast too. But he was just like, yeah, like this isn't an issue. This isn't an issue. Got some funny comments.
Oh man, let us know how you guys are feeling in the comments, man. I mean, me and Matt are very, very excited, very hype. I mean, there was let us remind you guys, there was something that a lot of people were saying is like a few weeks in, maybe a few weeks ago, it was you want to play the Braves, you don't want to play the Mets, you don't want to play the Mets, you don't want to play the Mets. We were adamant, no, bro, we want to play the Mets. The Mets are not a very good team. They had looked like frauds for like the past month or two. They didn't look good. Jacob deGrom didn't look good. Max Scherzer had come off an injury. Chris Bassett hadn't looked amazing. The lineup's not very good. I mean, yeah, the lineup put up better numbers in September than the Padres did, but dude, they got to play who? The A's, the Pirates, just a bunch of bum teams. The Padres had to play the Dodgers 9 times. They had a very tough schedule towards the end, so no wonder the Mets were going to put up better numbers than the Padres in September. In August, after the trade deadline, when you're comparing lineup for lineup, the current lineup to the Mets lineup in August, dude, they were almost the same lineup. So, yeah, we wanted to play the Mets because the Braves, not to mention, are coming off a World Series. They're World Series champions with a better team than they had last year. Why would we want to play them? Nonetheless, the Padres go to New York and show, look, the Mets are not better than us. They were never better than us. We beat them in a season series. Without Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Josh Hader, we beat them without them. We went in there and put up 17 runs in 3 games on them. They dominated. This was not a very competitive series. It was very lopsided. We were the much better team.
Yeah, and you felt that, I feel like too. Like, I mean, right away, okay, the way that the series starts too, with Bell hitting the bomb, and you're just kind of immediately getting going. And of course, Grisham, that's so funny still. But I feel like you looked at it and like if you're really watching the game, like you're right. Like there was basically the inning with Martinez gave up a bomb to Alonso, and Morejon blew up. Morejon's our age, all right. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
That's tough
man,
to come in.
come
Like,
on.
and he's been very up and down. I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know if I love Morejon pitching in the playoffs. And we also like really like Morejon long term.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of one of those things like, but I get it. Like you're already losing, so you gotta throw someone and ended up working out well tonight. Also,
Yeah.
side note, Suarez looked ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Hader's back. I'm not concerned or anything about Martinez, like, but we talked about this before. The bullpen is such a huge kind of part of this, of playoff baseball. Bullpen looked really good, but it also helps when your starter goes 7 scoreless. That's also another good thing. We actually kind of saw like, and also within the 2 games, we saw 2 very different pitching performances. You saw Darvish go out there, amazing, absolutely amazing. Musgrove, phenomenal, right? And then Snell was not good. Snell sucked, but you got to 2 wins. You just needed 2 of those 3 guys. So that is really good. Also, if you're gonna have the bad game, have the bad game when you're playing like pitching wise when you're going up against DeGrom, right? Like that's the way you would want to do it. So I go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You know, Blake Snell didn't have his best game, but the best thing about baseball, the best thing about the postseason, and the best thing about today is that he has another chance to go up there and shove against the Dodgers. Now, mentioning the Dodgers, there's a lot of questions. What is the rotation going to look like? What is game 1 going to look like? Clevenger's going game 1, right? I think he will.
Okay. So, and we got to talk about this. I think that tomorrow we'll have a video out like how the Padres can basically upset the Dodgers. I think there is one way that you can set up the rotation, and I think there is the only correct way to do it. You pitch Darvish on Tuesday with less rest. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Dude, Darvish is that dude. Darvish is built for that.
Though, because I feel like Go for it.
I
Sorry.
That's fine. I think you go Darvish, you go back to Snell. Snell didn't even pitch that much. So you go back to Snell on Wednesday. You have Musgrove on Friday, and then you go back to Darvish and Snell. And those are you three, and you keep riding them. Because this is a 5-game series. We have seen what happens when Clev or Manaea pitch against the Dodgers. We lose. We lose.
Agree.
You're going to give up game one? Guess what?
I completely agree with you.
Urias is probably going to go game one for the Dodgers. If Darvish can just do what Darvish does, it's a lock that Manny hits a home run off him. We've already said this. Manny has, I think they met up 3 or 4 times this year. He reached base 3 times in one game, and all the other games he hit a home run.
Mike Clevenger starting Tuesday. So I mean, let me try and because you know what, Matt, I agree with you. He doesn't pitch good against the Dodgers. That is what I told my brother. Is you know what, this kind of sucks because actually I'd probably told more than just my brother why yesterday was so important. I was actually talking to everyone on the live stream saying why yesterday was so important to win, so that way you can light up Musgrove for game 1 and then Darvish. But nonetheless, you lose yesterday, so now you're forced to throw Musgrove today, which puts us in a bad situation. But let me explain why this isn't as bad as you may think. Clevenger is really bad come second or third time around the lineup, right? If you can get him to go 4 or 5 innings, you have the rest of the bullpen fully healthy. Think about how many innings did the bullpen throw? Josh Hader threw 1 all series. Suarez threw 2. Martinez threw 2 or 3. The bullpen is very, very well rested and very healthy. So you can just rely on Clevenger to get through the lineup once or twice, coming off, I think, 1 or 2 solid starts in a row, I want to say. Because Darvish, as much as I want him on the mound, I look at his numbers and, I can't pinpoint his numbers with low rest, but they're just not. Remember, he's an aged pitcher. He's a veteran pitcher. You want him at his fullest strength, right? Though I could completely see your argument, Matt. Trust me, I see your argument.
So for me, it's not really as much about the first game of the series, though I do think that's a factor. But it's more if you let him go in that game, if you go Darvish Snell in the first 2 games, there's a rest day. The Thursdays, you don't play on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You can then throw them the next 2 games too. That's why I like it. Because it's like you don't have to worry about not pitching them later in the series. That means Snell can only go 1 time against the Dodgers. That's what that means. I want him to be able to go twice because look what this turns it into, right? Clev. So if you because it's a confirmed basically. You said so.
Yes.
Clev on Tuesday, Darvish Wednesday, Musgrove, and then you go. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Snell, Musgrove, whatever way you want to do it, and then only Darvish. So you don't get the opportunity to have them. To have one of those 2 guys, to have probably Snell go 2 times. And that's huge, dude. Like, I don't know, dude. That's the part, like, that's what stresses me out. Is like, and then who will pitch that last game? It'll be Darvish, I guess. So Darvish will go 2 and 5 potentially.
Yeah.
The other thing is you got to take the games early.
Yeah,
if you take game 1, like, I don't know. I know it's hard though. That's the thing. It's hard with rest.
That's the thing is that the wild card series puts a significant disadvantage to your team, whereas the teams with the buys haven't had to use any of the pitchers. They haven't even had to play a game. But you got to take 1 in LA. You can't come to San Diego down 2-0. That will kill us. That will kill your fan base. You come to LA or you come to San Diego back with a 1-1 tie, we're feeling good. You're coming back home.
And who we got in the mound?
You will have probably Snell, some sort of Darvish, Snell, or Musgrove for sure in 2 of those.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that it goes LA to San Diego to LA.
Yes.
1, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes they flip they go like 1-1-1 at the end.
1-2, 1-1, something like that. Something crazy, yeah.
But if your guys that are on the mound are Snell, who we've seen Snell when he gets completely hyped at games like this, and Musgrove, dude, those are the guys you want on the mound. Like, let Darvish go pitch in LA. Why? Because Darvish is going to be completely unfazed by that. Like, it's not going to affect him. So, I guess, I just have to deal with it, even though I don't like it. But, oh man, it is. Hey, at least we're here, right? That's the thing. That's the most important part. And the lineup is clicking. That's the other thing. I like your idea with Clev about him kind of not having to pitch like deep into the game. If he goes 4 innings, that'd be sweet. I mean, if you could go 4 scoreless innings, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah, I mean, like I was thinking of it too. I was like, damn, man, I don't want to have Clevenger on the mound. Why would we? Why would we? Right? But then you really think about it, and you're thinking, all right, Clevenger is well rested. You really, honestly, you're praying. You're praying that you get a vintage Clevenger performance. Because remember, like, I think there was 1 or 2 starts in 2020 where it's not the same lineup. It's a very similar lineup, though. He looked really good against the Dodgers. And I mean, now they got Freddie Freeman. Now they got Trey Turner. But I really feel like as long as you can get 4 from Clev, you're going to have all hands on deck out of the bullpen for sure. But you should feel comfortable. I mean, I'm estimating Julio Urias was going to go that day. Manny should go yard.
and I said Manny goes yard too. But another thing about that is the Padres as a team do not hit Urias well.
No,
so that's the other kind of part.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of like immediately putting yourself into a hole. And I feel like that's what it does. That's the only thing. But it's not the worst thing. It's definitely not. I saw some stuff here. Okay. Are you surprised they had Soto bunt today? Dude, when he dropped down the bunt, I was like, Juan Soto's bunting? And then it worked out perfectly. So you're like,
yeah, it did. Honestly, I want to say that was his decision.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, why would they have him bunt? Why would they voluntarily have him bunt in a game where they feel like they could blow it open? I do feel like Juan Soto knows he's in a position where, I'm not hitting my best, but I want to put my team in the best position to win. And I think if I drop one right here and advance the runner and get Manny up, then we're going to I'll put our team in a better position to win. So he did that nonetheless. I truly feel like that was a player's decision rather than a managerial decision. How many managers are going to have one of the greatest hitters of all time bunt?
Yeah, that's why I was surprised. And also, he almost got a hit on it too. That's the other thing. No, I thought that was an interesting move. Because one of my buddies texted me right away, and he's like, "Soto really just bunt?" And then I wrote back, "Hey, it worked."
See, that's the thing is that nobody expected it, and I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, no, that was good. I'm trying to see some other comments here. Hey, ask any questions you guys have, or any guys that you want us to talk about. I see someone brought up Cronenworth. Yeah, Cron had a terrible series at the plate, but I don't know. Cron has been struggling a lot lately, but I don't think you're going to take him out of playing second.
Nope.
Because he's really good defensively. You'd rather have a sure-handed that guy there.
It only takes one, guys. It only takes one hit. It only takes one hit to get out of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And especially with Cron, because he's very he's hot, like he's on.
Yes.
Maybe just push him down the lineup.
What's up? Yeah,
maybe
move him down the lineup. Yeah, especially against a lefty, you might want to move him down. I mean, possibly 3 straight lefties, but I mean, remember, 1 home run got Grish out of it. He was able to. You really only need 1 or 2 guys to get really hot in a given series. 1 or 2 guys to get really hot in a given series, and you put yourself in a solid position to win. Hopefully, Trent Grisham keeps it up. Hopefully, Cron wakes up. But I think this Padres team has what it takes to be able to go and knock off the Dodgers. I mean, you look at this past series, and they put up a fight. Other than that last game, they put up a fight. So you just got to get Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove up there, man. You got to get them up there. You got to give them all a chance to go up there and pitch. I hope so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty hilarious. What got into Grish? I don't know, but he's got to keep doing this.
Yeah, man. I mean, Grish has those really weird stints of, damn, this dude's a baller, like, damn, this guy can be an all-star. This is the guy we saw in 2020. Like, he has those really weird stints. He had one right now, and hopefully he's able to keep that up.
Yeah. What do you think? Okay, what do you think about how they'll play Drury, Bell, Myers, that combo? Like, depending on who's pitching.
Bell's gonna keep being in there. Bell's gonna keep being in there because of his switch hitting ability. He's gonna be a righty at the plate. It's gonna be beneficial for the Padres. It is very, very difficult to sit both Will Myers and Brandon Drury, considering they're both righties at the plate. You got to figure out a way to maybe you don't have them both in at the same time, but you got to play the hot hand. The hot hand right now, I will say, is Will Myers.
It's so funny because today he went 0-for-4, but like if you're watching, you're like, oh, but he is making extremely hard contact. Exactly. That's the difference.
Good at bats, hard contact, great first base, great defensive performance. Like he's playing great right now. How can you? It's really hard to sit Drury, who can really, he can put a game away or he can give you the lead. He has that power. You need to figure something out though, and this is a good position for the Padres to be in. It's not like, damn, these guys suck. Which one are we going to play? It's like, damn, these guys are both doing really well. Who are we going to play?
Yeah. I can't. I have a fat headache today from the last couple of days at the game.
That's funny.
Dude, I will say it was super fun to go, and it was also hilarious because the same thing happened tonight on Friday when the Padres got to the big lead. The stadium was rocking in the first inning, right?
Yeah.
When Grisham hit the home run in the second on Friday, crickets. It was almost silent. And that was after they were like yelling Darvish and stuff. They didn't score. The same thing happened tonight, which I thought was hilarious. And then they're bringing up the attendance numbers. Yo, how is the stadium not sold out on a playoff game?
In an elimination game. In an elimination game in New York.
It's a lock that Petco sold out every single game.
100%. It is a lock. And you know what? It's very shameful that everyone counted us out. That fan base thought they had it in the bag. And when they lost even a little grip of it, they weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I truly like some players on the Mets. I like Scherzer. I like Lindor. I like Marte. But for the most part, I do not like the Mets. So this was beautiful to be able to beat them. I'm indifferent about DeGrom. Everyone loves DeGrom. I feel indifferent about DeGrom. I don't hate him. I don't love him. But I don't know. I feel indifferent about him. But I despise Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
I despise Pete. I hate
he's
Pete
so
Alonso.
corny.
Corny.
Dude, we gotta post the how this is Pete Alonso and your team just lost to the
and lost to the San Diego Padres. Yeah. I think he is the most overrated player, one of the most overrated players in baseball. If he was playing in Kansas City, this dude would just be like Yonder Alonso, something like that. You know, he wouldn't be talked about very highly because I truly think
he's pretty good, bro. He's pretty good.
I don't like him, man. I don't think he's that good.
Okay, let's see. I want to see his numbers.
He has some power number. He hits for power, you know. I will give him that.
He's also a terrible first baseman.
Yeah, he's a first baseman. Like, what outside of hitting bombs, what do you provide?
Okay, dude. Okay, he's hit a lot of home runs though. Like,
yeah, he hits home runs. Yeah, he has a lot of power.
Yeah, no, I don't really like him either.
I hate him.
People are talking about DeGrom. Hey, so someone said, okay, where was it? Anna said, will AJ go bananas for left fielder? I was thinking about this. Depending on the Padres playoff run, obviously now is a huge, huge start. But when Petco's rocking this weekend, like when we see all that, I wonder if it'll get Slider to kind of be like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go all in the next couple of years. And I was thinking, because we're talking about the Mets, I'm not gonna get too into the offseason. I don't want to look ahead like that, but wouldn't it be hilarious if we snagged DeGrom from the Mets? That would be amazing. That would be like, I would probably have to buy a DeGrom jersey out here, a DeGrom Padres jersey. That'd be awesome. But I don't know, dude. I think that's like one of those things where like you see how hyped like the franchise is right now. Like you see how good this team is, and even when you don't have Fernando, even like when it's like, okay, maybe like some of these guys kind of were below expectations. We're already seeing what the trade deadline meant. I was talking to some Mets fans at a bar last night before I went in, and we were talking about, they were like, look, this is my thought. This is what this guy said. He goes, this is my thought. We have two different teams right now. We have a team that went all in at the deadline, and we have the team that did nothing. That was their take on it. And I was like, I never thought about it like that. But he was basically saying like, dude, we wanted the Mets to go make moves at the deadline, and they didn't. The Padres did that, and we're seeing Bell's been great in the playoffs.
Yes, he has.
Like, and you see how it helps other guys. You see that the bottom of the order is hitting so much better. Why? Because, dude, look at the top of the lineup. You got Machado, Bell, and Soto hitting 2 through 4. Not that order, obviously, but hitting 2 through 4. That is disgusting. That is a disgusting core at the top. And when you do that, then you get guys like Austin Nola getting a couple base knocks that are super clutch, and Trent Grisham going God mode. But the lineup is so much better because of the deadline stuff. So I really hope that, of course I hope the Padres win, but I don't think that we realize how big of a deal them having a deep playoff run could potentially be for future years and like for the whole like state of the franchise. Because I think that there is a world where Seidler and ownership look at it and go, fuck it, man. Like, let's go way over the cap. Let's go 50 mil over the cap. Let's do it. Like, let's go get these guys. Let's bring everyone back. Like, we got to win these next few years. And I think it's worth it for them. And I would love to see that. So I don't know. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about this one. This is a huge series win.
An extra incentive to these wins in each game that you play is Fernando comes back sooner and sooner. Sooner and sooner. Each game you play is a game towards Fernando. And maybe there's some hard feelings towards Fernando. Maybe there's some immaturity there, but you just kind of have to hope that he grows up a little bit. Juan, good to hear from you, man. I hope Profar doesn't opt out. I feel like he loves Preller a lot, so hopefully that kind of influences his decision. I want him to remain a Padre. I think even if he doesn't post the best numbers, I think he's super fun to watch. I think he's electric. When he's not slumping, like when he's actually hot at the plate, I think he's a very, very fun player to watch. But I mean, let's go to this Dodger. We talked about this Dodger series already, so we just want to wrap up. We'll probably wrap up in a little bit, but overall, what were your biggest takeaways from this Mets series? Let's go 3 takeaways. Not even 3 takeaways. Let's go 3 pros, 3 cons that you take away from this series going into the next series. That goes for everybody, even in the comments.
Okay, so 3 pros and 3 cons from only the Mets series, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think 3 pros. First pro is once you get to the playoffs, everything else is in the past and doesn't matter. And we see that from guys at the bottom of the lineup that have been struggling. We've seen it from guys that were actually like slumping hard, and then all of a sudden it's like it's different. It's just completely different. It's like very like in the moment. So you don't worry about any of that shit anymore. Like that. And I think that's a very positive thing because I think you can see like some frustration sometimes from the Padres lineup this year. Didn't see that at all. Second takeaway, I want Darvish pitching as many games as possible in the playoffs. That dude, he has the it factor. He has the dog in him. He has all that. Like he's got that winning DNA. And also for anyone that looks at it and goes, "Oh, Darvish has been bad in the playoffs," go take away one World Series start where the team knew what he was throwing and basically didn't swing it like any of his off-speed stuff, and knew when he was throwing fastballs. And you take that away, then he's actually really good in the playoffs, believe it or not. When he allowed like 8 runs in 2 innings or whatever it was. So, I mean, Darvish is a huge pro, and I think the other thing is that another takeaway is, and we've kind of started to see this a little bit in the regular season as well, but this is a big one for me, is I did not understand the importance of lineup protection. Like you, Isaac, you definitely knew it like a lot.
I know it. Yeah, I know it.
And you've kind of been explaining that to me of like, okay, that's kind of how it works. But you can see it, you can feel it. And when you have these guys that are just ridiculous hitters, no matter if they're playing well, if they're not playing well, but you add a Soto to the lineup, that makes the bottom of your lineup that much better. And we saw that with a lot of guys. Dude, Nola since the trade deadline has been great. Why? Because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not like worried about like I'm seeing a lot of good pitches. I'm seeing a lot of pitches in the zone. They have to attack me. So I think that's my other takeaway. And the Padres have a very deep lineup now, much more deep than it was earlier on in the year, where we had a lot of big concerns about that. So that would be the third one. I would say cons. I don't know. I'm not like super worried, but Blake Snell was really sus.
Yeah. There's another guy that was really sus too that I hate. Oh God, I hate saying it.
Yeah,
I think it pains me.
Him and Crone would be the 2 cons of the series. But the thing is that they can just flip a switch too. That's the thing. Like, and that's what I was just bringing up. That was my first takeaway. You can just kind of, it's whatever it is, but you're kind of just in the moment. Yeah. I'm trying to think of another con. This is a very positive series. I don't really know if I have anything else.
Of course.
I don't know. Con is the Mets organization. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Shitty.
I still can't believe that people said he had Vaseline on this series.
That's crazy, right? And so, going over the pros, outside of Blake Snell, our horses looked fantastic. Our horses were able to give us 7 innings of amazing pitching. Some of the best pitching I've seen from a Padres rotation in my life. So that was really, really great to see out of them. Another pro that's getting talked about a lot right now is Trent Grisham. As a show, as a unit, as us 3, I feel like I don't hate Trent Grisham. I don't like him. Maybe I like him the most, but that's just because, like, I know he has the ability to do this. Granted, he doesn't do it very often, but he's doing it right now. So a pro for me regarding Trent Grisham would be he's playing Gold Glove defense and he's putting it together at the plate. Maybe not in terms of hitting for average, but I mean, you look at it, he got on 4 times in a row. He's hitting for power. So really good series for Trent Grisham. And then another pro was the bullpen is super, super fresh going into next series. The bullpen barely had to be used. So that's another pro going into next series for sure. There's a lot of pros. You could talk about, the power that was displayed throughout the lineup. And one that I didn't even get to bring up that, for everyone who listens continuously, I preach this all the time. The patience at the plate displayed by the Padres this series, amazing. Like I said earlier, when after that first inning, you might have been shitting yourself a little bit because Bassett only had 7 pitches through the first inning. After that, they got him out in 4 innings. After 4, he was out of the game. Scherzer got him out very early. The Padres were taking advantage of, I'm going to have to plug in my charger, taking advantage of the advantageous spots they were put in with runners in scoring position, the counts that they were put in. They were controlling the pace of the game at the plate, and I thought the offense as a whole looked fantastic. Let me plug in my charger before I go over the cons, because 5%, that's pretty scary.
I see a lot of good pros and cons in here too. Con, missing Hosmer's playoff leadership. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, right.
Pro, more games off Tatis's suspension. What else we got? Oh, Con went cold, but he did move Bell over to second. Please don't get into another big slump, especially Grisham Machado. I mean, Machado's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't have a super high average or whatever, but he had a home run. He had an RBI. He had 3 RBIs in the series, a home run, and he had a multi-hit game tonight. And one of them, it was a double that got guys on second and third. So, very, very good spot.
I plugged my charger in. I'm ready to go over the cons.
Yeah.
One big con was, I hate to talk about it, man. Cronenworth did not look good at the plate. And I will say, I think he will be okay. We go back to last season. He had 1 or 2 really good Dodger series. You only need 1 at-bat to go out there and really turn it around. The way Trent Grisham showed too. He only needed 1 at-bat to finally get his mojo back. The thing with Jay Cronenworth is, you guys know that when I feel like someone's going to break out, I look at it like this. How have their at-bats been? How good do their at-bats look? Are they having competitive at-bats? I don't think Jay Cronenworth had many competitive at-bats. You look at one of these at-bats, and he went down on 3 or 4 pitches, all in the zone. I didn't think he had really competitive at-bats. Like I said, I'm not scared. I love Jay Cronenworth, but that is an area of concern where now he's got to face 3 lefties against a pitching staff. I feel like he hasn't had much success against this season. But hopefully he's able to come back against this Dodgers team. Another con, you had to go to game 3 and you had to use Joe Musgrove in game 3. That is a big con. That is the biggest con of them all, because rather than, winning game 2 and having Joe Musgrove lined up for game 1 and then Darvish, Snell, whatever rotation that you had, now you had to use Joe Musgrove in a do or die game, and now you got to start Mike Clevenger on Tuesday. And Mike Clevenger hasn't had much success against that lineup. So that is a big con. Man, what's another one?
I think that's a good one too. I think it's a really good one.
Yeah, definitely. That is a big con. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the way I think of it every series, the way I think of it every elimination game, you got to do what you got to do to give yourself a chance to win the next game. Even if it's use your best guys and, be thin on something tomorrow.
You're staying alive. You're staying alive.
Exactly. You have to stay alive. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you have a pulse, you have a chance. So, Padres did what they had to do today. Win the ball game, go to New York, win on the road in one of the biggest media markets, despite being probably the biggest underdog maybe outside of the Phillies. Maybe even teams had the Phillies more so than the Padres, but quite possibly the biggest underdog throughout the whole wild card series. where every single team took the Mets. Every single analyst took the Mets. The Mets were taking the Mets, bro. The Mets had the Dodgers already locked up in their schedule, thinking, oh, we're going to LA next week. They're going to be on their couches next week.
Dude, and they're losing a lot of guys too.
They're losing guys. That
felt good.
That felt great. It was amazing. And I didn't hate the Mets up until this series. I hate the Mets now. They went and got Scherzer. They thought they had it all with DeGrom. They really thought that they were going to kick our ass. And keep in mind, for anyone who didn't see the comment a few days ago, I was told I had a clown take for saying that the Padres match up nicely with the Mets and that they match up in terms of power, at least. I said I was told I had a clown take by a Mets fan. The Mets put up 1-0.
And two losses, they put up 1 run.
They put up 1 run, had 1 hit today? That's the offense that's so much better than the Padres?
Dude, also, that made no sense, too, because the people are like, well, yeah, like, if you look at the Padres season numbers, why would we be looking at Padres season hitting numbers? That does not make any sense. Oh, we're going to just look at this team when they didn't have half of their lineup. Why? Why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense. So I think that's also part of it where it's like you can't really just look at the metrics and be like, oh, well, this team is better because their overall offense is ranked, 3 spots higher, whatever it is. It's like you can't deal with the Padres offense. Now, if you're looking at the Padres pitching, of course, because they haven't had any changes outside of getting Hader. And I mean, I guess Hader hurts the numbers, but like, but Hader looks fine. Hader looks really good. But I don't know. I never understood that. It's like, do you guys forget what happened at the deadline? Like, this isn't the same team that for the first 100 games or so, 110 games or whatever it is before the deadline. Yeah. So I don't know. I always thought that was a little bit strange that's what a lot of people will say. I see Marcus says, to be honest, I don't really think they were underdogs. As someone who's a Yankees fan who lives in New York, Mets fans around me were scared of the Padres. Okay, that's good. Maybe it's just like media perception.
Yeah, it was a media thing. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing, is it was a media thing. And at the end of the day, all that matters is that the Padres know they can win. Us fans know they can win. And they went in there. They won, took a 3-game series on the road. And honestly, what I thought was one of these scarier environments in terms of playoff baseball. Matt, you were actually there. I can't imagine how, maybe not scared of the fans, but like how energetic those Mets fans can get when, things go their way. Because they sounded really loud and really crazy.
Okay, so the people I was sitting by, they were all cool. Like, I had talked to some people before the game, and like we're getting drinks with the guys. But I like the people that were in like the section. I sat in the third deck in the outfield, then like the front of the outfield, that was sick. That was my spot yesterday. Mm-hmm. And the people around me were super cool, and they were also like they thought that like they didn't realize that we lived in San Diego. So we're like, oh no, like yeah, we live in San Diego, like of course, like or like we're from Southern California, whatever it is, like. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, that's pretty sick that you guys are out here. Because the people that I were with were from San Diego. So I don't know. It was pretty cool though. But yeah.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I was gonna say, do you see this? What Scherzer said? Is that actually what he said? Felt like a kick in the balls. If he did, that's hilarious.
Let me see. I did a kick in the balls. Yeah, damn right. Good. Take it.
Yeah, dude. Smash the like button.
I'm right.
Niners won too. Yeah, the Niners won. They got a game up on everyone else. Isaac, your Chargers won. Good football day as well.
Good football. Well, not fantasy wise. I hate fantasy. But otherwise, I hate fantasy. Go Padres. The Padres are looking at one of the biggest series in Padres history.
Yeah.
In what some may call a rivalry, some may not. But
it's gonna be hype.
But going into this series, this is a rivalry. 100%. This is a rivalry. And if you refuse to say otherwise, whatever. But the Padres are going in there knowing this team kicked our ass throughout the season, but this is a new season. We're in the postseason now. Anything could happen. That's all in the past. We just came off a series where we just beat a 100-win team. Quite frankly, this 100-win team that we just beat, I believe, beat the Dodgers
Yeah.
throughout
They won the majority of the games. Yeah.
Yeah, they won a majority of the games. I'm telling you guys, this team might be a little different than the one in the regular season.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also, I mean, that's the thing is like most of the time they were different players. A lot of the worst pitchers were lined up, so I don't like how they lined it up. It's all right. I'm getting over it.
They just had to, they had to.
But I said this before. This happens every single year. There'll be a team that gets smoked by a team in their division throughout the whole season, and that's what happens with the Padres and the Dodgers. And then they go in, and then the playoffs, they meet up with them, and they beat them. We see this every single year in sports. At least this probably happens maybe every other year in every sport where that happens, where the one team that is always like losing to that division opponent like ends up pulling it off. So I've been saying that for a while. So yeah, that's all I got, I think. How many?
Yes, sir. Go Padres, baby. Go Padres. Let's go. We're going to LA on Tuesday. Everyone show massive support, man. I mean, like I was telling everyone on what was it yesterday, man? I mean, granted, I was a little buzzed and don't go into the series negative. I would say don't go into the series negative because you don't know how many more games the Padres have. So throughout the rest of the way, be positive, be excited that you're getting some great postseason baseball from this Padres team. They're doing things that honestly I didn't expect them to do. Losing Fernando to not only a motorcycle accident but to steroids. You had a very, very dramatic season. Bob Melvin, got sick. A very dramatic season. Nonetheless, the Padres were able to show some adversity and get this far. So be happy that they're here and be excited that they have more baseball. We have more postseason baseball coming our way because honestly, what does any negativity the rest of the way do for us?
No, it doesn't do anything. All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch Justin Tucker hit a game winner right now.
Go Ravens.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. And tomorrow we'll have a video about just kind of like previewing this Dodger series, and then we'll be going live after every single game. So hopefully do this into November, right? That's the goal. So
I'm skipping the gym for this, man.
You're what?
I'm skipping the gym like this whole week just so I can do this and watch.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good night and go Padres.